Your battery don't get out.
Distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, you are all heavily recognized. Chairman-elect on the platform of our great party, you are also heavily recognized.
We're not going to spend more than 20 minutes in this meeting. In this one, will enable us to go back and refresh for the primaries ahead. You are all aware that the primaries for the House of Assembly is on Wednesday, and that of House of Rep is on Friday. Senate is on Saturday. The governorship is on the 23rd. And this only those qualified delegates will be allowed to participate in the election. I want to caution any of the aspirants who try to disrupt any of these processes will stand disqualified. We'll apply the constitution of the party and we'll do just that. And just like earlier announced, the appointees of government that are delegates, please, it is better for you to come to our office. Let's identify you so that you don't make the delegate list. If you don't come, we'll search and get you out. And even as a former member of the ESCO of the party, if you're an appointee of government, you too are not qualified to be a delegate. So on this note, I want to welcome all of you, and to know the delegates know that one of the presidential aspirants will be here this afternoon after our meeting.
National delegate, not all delegates.
National delegates, exactly. After our meeting, if you know you are not one of the national delegates, you will excuse the meeting.
No. Because they have not eaten. When the meeting finishes, they will have just...
So all of you will move to the... all the national delegates will move to the governor's residence, while others will wait here. And when you eat, you keep some for us, so that when you come back, we will... So, you are welcome to this enlarged caucus meeting. And as you go back, we pray that may God take you back to your various destinations. We want to thank God so far for the peaceful conduct of our congresses. I think in Benue, it is better than other states. So at this point, we are going to call, one item agenda on the chairman of the G14 and the chairman of the G9. They will come give us their report. After that, His Excellency the Governor will make a speech, and then the meeting will close for the day. Thank you so much. God bless you
all. Congress. We did just that in about 4 different sessions. We tried as much as possible to see if we could zero down on one person, as you had advised. We talked very sincerely to ourselves, and we came to certain agreements. One of, and the most important of which was that we should look for somebody who will win the election for us in 2023. That was the most important signpost that we're looking at. Somebody who must not lose the election. Because, as we have continuously said, we will not afford to lose the election. Fortunately, the G14 had arrived at 1%. And the G9 had also arrived at 1%. So we had only 2 people to choose from. The position of the G9 was there, and our own position was that we feel very strongly that the candidate that we are putting up is better qualified to win the election for us, for certain reasons, or very obvious reasons. Number 1 is the consensus for both Zone A and B. And you are aware, the Zone A and B have a voting population of nearly 700,000. And therefore, if we're able to come to that person, to 1%, it means that the election is almost already won. Therefore, on the basis of that, we pleaded with our brothers to cede the aspiration to the candidate of zones A and B. We pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. Finally, their position was that it was very difficult for them to do that. They stood their grounds and held that they are more favorably disposed to contesting the primaries. So that was a position which they are going to give themselves. But our own position was very clear. We rejected that position. We said that it is better for them to cede their interest, in the interest of the party, and for the singular reason that our candidate has a better chance of winning the election. He draws all the votes in Zone A and B. But if we cede our own interest to them, it means that the entire votes in Tivland will be lost to the other party. They have still not agreed. Finally, we concluded that they should go home and still think. And we are continuing negotiations even until the last minute on the field, on the venue of the elections. So we are hoping that there is still hope that we still get 1% as a consensus candidate. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I beg to stand on the existing protocol. Chairman Dr. Lars Zeve, Chairman of G14, has said it's largely correct. My delegation and his delegation agree that there is absolute need for us to all work together to ensure that PDP wins the forthcoming election in 2023. That is our position. We also believe that the issue is not really between Zones A and B. The issue is between Zone A, who is fielding a candidate, and Zone C, who is also producing a consensus candidate. But be that as it may, our position is that all the intermediate areas in Tivland have had opportunity to produce a governor in this state. The only zone which has not been given that opportunity is my zone, Zone C. And therefore we pleaded with them, my colleague in G14, that in the name of fairness, equity, and justice, it is only expected that they should work with us to ensure that Zone C not only produce a candidate, but also we win the election. The idea that if we produce a Zone C candidate, we will do the election, there's nothing empirical to demonstrate that. And so we requested and continue to request our colleagues that this time around, Zone C, which has already produced a consensus candidate, should be the candidate to be adopted by the PDP for the forthcoming general election come 2023. That's the position that we arrived at which my colleague in G14 will agree with us that, yes, it is true that we have not produced a governor, but given the time frame within which we are working, it's unlikely that we should be able to convince the people in zones A and B to vote for us. And we said no. If all of us work together, there's nothing impossible that we cannot achieve. However, at the end of the day, there's one thing that both delegations went away with, is to say, okay, let's keep talking. Because we believe that my colleague can convince his people to give us that opportunity. But in the event that we fail that, we should go to the primaries. Thank you, Your Excellencies and gentlemen.
The G14, the G9, who are also groups that support the party in this bid. Thank you for coming, despite the short notice. We have heard from G14 and G9, and I think in the course of negotiating and trying to find ways of having consensus candidates for our House of Assembly, for our House of Reps, for our Senate, and gubernatorial, I think this is the last phase, and I think today we put to an end all issues of negotiation. And I want to appreciate G14 and G9. We couldn't do that earlier because we had to shift it because of the death of the Deputy Governor's son. So today he's here, and since he's also involved, it was better to allow time, which we did. And so I appreciate the G14 and G9 for giving their report. As you can see, it was a peaceful negotiation and meetings that they had, which is a plus for all of us. And that is what politics is, and is deeply appreciated. One, for the other positions we negotiated, I think about 3 months ago that we started talking about coming to a compromise. We have achieved success in arriving at consensus in some areas. Some we have not been able to do it. But even those we have achieved success in arriving at consensus, there is still going to be voting on that day to avoid any lapse that may come as a result of the amended Electoral Act. So myself, Suswam, and many others that will arrive at consensus, there is still going to be voting. And anybody who has made the criteria, whether in Zone B or in Zone A, that still wants to go in, if you have bought the forms, you have done the screening, and you have your certificate, you can still contest with me and with Suswam. It's allowed. Nobody will stop you. And so for other positions where people bought forms and they were cleared, I still want to make it very clear that you are allowed to contest. In Zone C, I think we have about how many aspirants? About 3 or 4. About 4 aspirants for the senatorial seats. So we are going to allow that process to take place. The primaries will take place free of rancor, and whosoever emerges will be accepted as a candidate of the party. For the gubernatorial, the 9 local governments in Zone C came with Engineer Benson Abonu as a consensus candidate. But there were two. Patrick Ogbu was involved. If for any reason he decides to change his mind and he has made the criteria, he is also free to contest. He will be accepted by the party to contest. Nothing stops him. For this Tiv-speaking area, or Zone A, as may be said, because Zone A and Zone B met and decided that it should be tied to Suba. And that is what we stand for. But it's free. Nobody is compelled to support Titus Suba. People are free to have their opinion, but the final thing will be at the primaries. And so don't be surprised that some people bought forms and people did screening, and today they are eligible. On that day, they are going to participate on the 23rd, which is a Monday of May. Huh? 14 of them. 14 people have been screened and are eligible to contest. One thing, as leader of the party and with the chairman and working committee, we want to assure you that there is going to be a transparent, free, and fair process. And so whosoever emerges from the delegates, how many delegates? Huh? 2,000 or about 3,000. Whatever delegate, 3,100. Whatever, you cross-check because I really want to know. And please, I want the list to be made available to me. I want to have it. So, organizing secretary, how many delegates? You are not sure yet. 3,009 delegates.
Different level.
No, I'm talking about the gubernatorial. How many delegates we are contending with?
The gubernatorial, we have 3,009 as statutory delegates to the State Congress, and then 828 elected delegates from the council wards.
No, I'm not sure you're getting it right. I think, Chairman, I will want you to sit. Wait. You better sit. PDP, to let people know the delegates that are going to be in the Congress. It's part of the transparency that you are going to introduce. So people must know. And I believe that on that day, accreditation will be done local government by local government. And the agents of various candidates will determine if this person is not a delegate or not. And that is what should apply in all the elections that we're going to conduct, whether House of Assembly, House of Reps, and all that. So the list of delegates must be made ready before Wednesday that we're starting the House of Assembly. Every constituency must have those delegates coming and signed by you, the organizing secretary, and whoever, and secretary of the party.
He will leave for Abuja tomorrow.
Huh?
He will leave for Abuja tomorrow.
Okay, to get the...
Actually,
Okay, because the delegates that were done, there were issues with it, and this electoral act and all that, there are issues. So the only place they can get the authentic list is from Abuja. The chairman is just telling me that the organizing secretary will leave for Abuja to get the authentic list. Because even the 3-man delegates, there were petitions, and there were counter petitions. There were resolutions, but the final list is that from the National Working Committee. That is the final list. So that is what they are. Once he gets that, but for those of you who are contesting, that list should be ready, and all of you should have the list. The chairman should make copies of the delegates list to all those people who have paid for forms, who have been screened and are certified and are certificated for the election. They should have it. And those people who are going should also have the list. So the gubernatorial is the same thing. I doubt if it will be 3,000 plus, because in 2019 election, it was 2,600, and I don't know where it is jumping to. So you have to check very well, because I don't understand when you say it's 3,000 plus. Gubernatorial, 4,000. Okay, councillors. But that time, did we not have councillors? Okay, okay. Okay, whatever it is, once you get it ready, let all the candidates have the list. Let everybody know, because it's going to be a transparent, free, and fair process. And whosoever comes out will be the candidate of our party. And as committed members of the party, once we have a candidate, we'll work on it. And I want to dispel this rumor that I have a preferred candidate for anyone, all the elections. And I have said, including my own, that I'm contesting.
You don't prepare yourself.
I'm prepared. Because this thing you don't know now till the last day. So I'm prepared. If anybody is contesting with me, fine. Nobody has bought form. Chairman is telling me that for some BC that nobody bought form. So. So, but for every other one, please, I want you to take me in confidence. For the gubernatorial especially, the chairman of the aspirant will tell you, when they met with me, I told them I was not going to take side. I was going to allow a process that will usher in whosoever is wanted. And I never. Those of you who believe that I was lying and we anoint someone, am I not vindicated? Chairman, am I not vindicated? Because you spoke to me about your concern. I said, look, I'm not supporting it. If anybody is imposing himself that is the anointed one, I'm not there. I did not anoint anyone. And until the whole process evolved, and the speaker and the deputy governor became consensus for G9 and for G14. That I'm doing, but that again did not stop anybody from still pursuing his ambition. And until that day, we are going to vote. Even if there were consensus, I was going to insist that we do the voting, because that is the final thing to be done, so that you don't have any litigation or any problem, and it's going to be done free and fair. So now for me, I know that those are the people. G14 and G9 are still talking. If on the day 23rd of May, they come out to say, well, we have resolved, fine. But if they don't resolve, all of them, together with the other people who felt that prophets have spoken to them and they are confident they will win and all that, they will go and contest. But I have always said, as a student of the Bible says, the test of a true prophet is that whatever he says shall come to pass. But the test of a false prophet is whatever he said will not come to pass. So on the 23rd, we will know those people who are saying prophets or God has told them, we are going to see on that day. It's very simple. Me, I don't have any problem. Anybody who emerges and anybody who attempts to bring any talk to disrupt this process of election, we are going to deal with you, and I will personally be involved. Nobody, from the House of Assembly, nobody is above the law. Go and read the guidelines. If there is anything, even if something goes on which is not right, you have the right to petition to the appeal panel, not to go and create problems. If you do that, I'm going to stand against you, and I'm giving this warning so that you will not blame me. Whoever you are, I'm the governor of Benue State. I'm in charge. Whoever, and I have not shown any interest. You want to contest, you contest. Anybody that wins is a candidate of the party, and I will work with you. I have no problem. But if you make any attempt to go and rig or disrupt the process, go and read the Electoral Act very well, know the punishment, and I will follow up against you. And you'll be dealt with. That I can assure you. No matter how close you are to me, or your godfather is close to me, I will deal with you. Let it be very clear. That this is the essence of calling this meeting. And so let it be known. I'm very clear. And so the chairman said about political appointees. If you're a political appointee and you found your way and you were a delegate, that is a criminal offense. And one will sack you from the political appointment and you'll be prosecuted. Go and read the Electoral Act. You know, some of you don't read those things. Go and read it, because if you're involved, don't come back to me. And if they get you, don't ask me for a lawyer. You'll be dealt with for whatever reason. So please be careful. If you're a political appointee, go back and meet the chairman. Let your name be deleted. It is not late. I think they can still do something at the national headquarters. To replace you, consultation will be made and the appropriate person will be brought. So don't do anything that tomorrow you start regretting and come back to blame the governor. These days, even when somebody did not treat the wife well, I've always told you from 12 noon, treat your wives well, even if they offend you. Just be patient so that you can have a night's sleep well. But here, when their wife turned their back, they come back to blame the governor, that the governor was responsible. Don't blame it. So please be careful. If you're there, please withdraw yourself and let the chairman know so that your name will not be out of the place. Otherwise, if you don't do it, you have committed an offense and you're liable to be prosecuted and jailed. Now, let me say that for those people who came out of here and went out to blackmail me, please know that I've been in this game for a very long time. And I can never succumb to any form of blackmail. Please, there are two blackmails that came up in the media. And I've told you. First of all is the one from the so-called Benue rebate movement. And I want to advise. We don't have a wing in PDP as Benue rebate movement. Benue rebate movement is a creation of APC. The man who is leading that movement retired as a general in the villa. And they are against us. All of you from Zone C, I want you to know this. They are not saying those things for your good. Whatever they say is against the PDP. And they want to ruin and run down the party. Don't join them. Don't listen to them. Don't work with them. They are enemies. Whatever they say, they will tell you we have not joined any party. But in the actual sense, they are wolf in sheep clothing. So don't go and join up with them. When we met here, I only gave analysis of what is on ground. And anybody who is in dispute should go and bring figures to dispute what I said. I was just talking about the strategy of us as a party, PDP, winning the election and not losing the election. I didn't run down Zone C. In my appointments, I have more When you go and check your commissioners, I have more commissioners in Zone C more than Zone A and B. The 3 zones, we are 3 zones. I have more commissioners. Go and check. I didn't run down that. Yes, I only talked about the voting was against me. I did not get votes in 2015 and 2019. It is not that all the people voted against me. That is why I'm working with Zone C. My deputy governor that I nominated is from Zone C. The commissioners I have here are from Zone C, advisors and all that, and appointees. I have never done anything disregarding Zone C when it comes to appointment. But I spoke about the challenge that we have, that the opposition party wants to take advantage against us. And how can people infiltrate and be using that to blackmail me? I expect that some of you should speak and say it if you love this party. You have freedom to do whatever you want. So nobody will blackmail me and succeed in a bid to trying to get whatever you want. Zone C governor or an Idoma governor is realizable. But I have given my own advice on what I think can be done. It is not by coercion. It is not by force. Politics is a game of number and negotiation. Game of number and negotiation. You negotiate power. Even those who are more, have more numbers, they still negotiate amongst themselves. You negotiate. Politics is about negotiating. It is not about threat. It's not about victimization. It's not about blackmailing people. It's about discussing as brothers and sisters and coming out with a position, just like Zone G9 and G14 are discussing. From their report, we did not hear any fight. They are working, and they told us negotiations still continue. If at the end we cannot arrive at a compromise, we are going to vote. And the vote will decide. And that is all. Whosoever wins will work with the person. So blackmail should not come in. This matter of going to judge and getting people, coercing them to say things, this will not happen, this will not happen. Yesterday, some people from the same Zone C, where some people came out and Benue Rebate movement and say, Zone C will not take any deputy governor. If anybody does that, he'll be banished. But people from Zone C send words to me that they are ready to take it. That is not to say that a Zone C person cannot be governor. If voting happens, if we go to the primaries and the deputy governor wins, for instance, that is okay. If another person wins, it is okay. Even in Zone A, it is not only the NNAMDIKANU people that will say this thing has been zoned so. There are 20 people who also vote for. If they win, we have no choice than to work for the people. So all this kind of blackmail that you want to push the governor and then blackmail me and you think you will do it. Look, God has trained me through the process. I'm a street man, but I'm also a refined man. So I have the two. If you want me to go to the street, I'll go with you to the street. If you want us to refine it, we'll go to it. I'm saying it before the cameras, because even that one I said it, so that nobody will misquote me. All these things above all, John 3:27, a man can receive nothing except it's given to him from above. It's only God that gives. So we should not be playing God in any way. If God wants it, you will get it. And I have always given reference to 2015 about my election and 2019 about my election. Some people think that What happened to me will happen to them. But our people say, somebody danced and he was prayed. But the same dance, another person came to dance at the wrong time and he was beaten. So all these things, you must put them together. So we're not stopping anybody. You're free to go and satisfy yourself. The second blackmail was from one of the gubernatorial aspirants, and I think 3 of them, because I was given information.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.